this hour is to give you all the honor, all the praise, and all the glory. We enjoy the beauty of another day, a day that you have made, not because we have been obedient to your commands, but because your grace and your mercy endure forever. We pray, O God, that you will strengthen us where we are weak, build us up where we have fallen, and let the words of our mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight. And then, O God, our humble prayer is that you will bless the hearts of all the citizens of this city who are in a right relationship with you, that they will pray for this city, pray for the financial stability of this city, pray for the progress of this city. For we realize that faithful and fervent prayers that you will hear and you will answer. It is in the mighty and precious name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen.
Thank everyone for coming out and joining us on this move this ordinance for reporting out. Councilwoman Rogers, Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
That's it. Okay. Mr. President, Planning Committee reports out CPO 2019-46.
Mr. President, Finance Committee would like to report out CPO 2019-44, 2019-45, and 2019-47.
And Mr. President, Planning Committee reports out CPO 2019-46.
Thank you. Before we go into special select, we are honored to have our state representative, Dr. Vernon Smith, here with us, and he will give us a presentation at this time with updates on the last session that just took place.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me to begin by giving reverence to God and an honor to you as president of the Gary Common Council and all the other members of the Gary Common Council and to the fine people of Gary. It's my pleasure to represent a small portion of Gary. At one point, I represented the majority of Gary, and now I only have the Glen Park section of Gary. But I'm pleased to represent the people of Gary. What I'd like to do is share with you the highlights of some of the bills I think that might be applicable to you and meaningful to you. And I'll be brief as I can because you can see there were a lot of bills that were enacted. You can turn to House Bill 1029. As you know, there's a real problem nationally with prescription drugs, the cost of them, and so the legislature did make a decision to create a study committee on prescription drug pricing. House Bill 1056 deals with property tax appeals. It requires that county or township officials receive a written appeal, must accept the appeal, and basically puts the responsibility of acting on this written notice in the hands of the county auditor. House Bill 1080 deals with community correction and credit time. As you may be aware, we give good time credit to those inmates who behave and follow the rules while they're incarcerated. What this bill does allow them to take good time credit away from you if you fail to follow as charged. House Bill 1089 Education Matters. It provides that a school corporation shall accept a transfer student if the parent works in the school corporation and makes over $8,000 a year. House Bill 1114 deals with criminal matters. It provides that a person commits a Class B misdemeanor for interfering with a policeman if they have a marked area that you cannot get within the area. That's based on the incident that happened in another part of our state. House Bill 1123 deals with telephone solicitation. allowing more persons to be involved and make use of this provision, and so that we use the amount that has been allocated each year. House Bill 1630, it gives school corporations a chance to restart. As you know, if you get into your 5th year, you go under the authority of the state if you have been a failing school corporation. If you reorganize, you can get a new school number and start over again. House Bill 1649 is created out of a situation in Indianapolis where they have these electric foot scooters. They're not here in Gary, but they're all over Indianapolis, and I imagine some other major cities. And it indicates here that they're just considered as a bicycle and not, doesn't have to be licensed as a motor vehicle. Senate Bill 29 deals with school materials for juvenile detainees. If a child is in a juvenile detention facility, the school corporation must provide school materials for that student. If we flip over to the Senate bill, Senate Bill 192 deals with non-consensual pornography. What has happened in a number of situations, we had testimony, is a young man and a female may be involved, and they take pictures of themselves and send to each other, and then when you break up, and they put it on the electronic media and embarrass the other person, it makes this a crime. Senate Bill 220. If you go on the premise of another person, and your safety is in your hands if you were not given permission to go on that property. Senate Bill 235 expands the expungement provisions that were quite necessary for this community because we have so many young people as well as older people who are being incarcerated. Senate Bill 325 deals with student mental health. This was an effort to deal with some of the violence that's going on in schools with guns and so forth, to try to provide mental health services for those persons in need. Mr. President, what I did was just pick out some of the highlights of the bills. I know that you have a busy schedule, and I certainly appreciate the opportunity to come and report to you annually.
Thank you. I do appreciate you taking out this time to bring this report to it. You've been coming since I've been on the council and probably even before. We really do appreciate it. But is there any questions for Dr. Smith at this time by any council members?
No, Mr. President, I just want to thank Representative Smith for his commitment to Lake-Con and the state of Indiana and the things he's done, not just as state representative, but among the African American chiefs and the things that you've done to empower our young people and your commitment. And we thank you so much for coming down to help us out.
I just want to thank the citizens for the honor of being able to serve.
Thank you so much. Yep. Thank you. At this time, special and select any council member at this time.
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Brown.
Okay, on Saturday, July 13th, the Simmons Family Council and the Institute of Youth Community Program cordially invite all residents to participate in their annual Saba Saba picnic and celebration Saturday, July 13th at the home of Paul Simmons, 3465 Maryland Street, from 11 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. All ages are welcome. There's no admission. They are asking that you bring your favorite dish to share with 10 other people. Water, non-alcoholic beverages, rolls, meat, vegetables, pasta dish, so forth. They will play competitive games, discuss and give information on Saba Saba, and have positive discussions on making our city and community better. For further information, call Ella S. Monroe at 219-949-1826. or you can email her at esm0701@aol.com. And then the other event, they will be observing the 42nd Annual Ancestors Memorial Service at St. Paul Missionary Baptist Church, 2300 Grant Street. This event is also free and open to the public. It will be held on Saturday, August 17th at 3 o'clock in the sanctuary. So they're asking that you join them in their candle lighting ceremony. You may honor 3 of your loved ones with a candle donation of $3. Deadline to give names is August 12, 2019. You can contact Shirley Baldwin at 219-949-4232 with names and donation. So they're inviting you to sing a song, play an instrument, recite a poem, reading, or creative dance. So Reverend Howard L. Carter is the pastor, and I don't know how to pronounce the last name, president. Also, the 3rd District Community Meeting will be held on Monday, July 22nd at 5:30 p.m. at Tolleson Pavilion. Topic of discussion will be city updates. Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson and other department heads are invited to be there. Businesses and residents are invited, so all are welcome. Please join us, not just the 3rd District. So this will be, as I said, Monday, July 22nd at 5:30 at Tolleson Pavilion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Caldwell.
the 5th District would like to welcome Community Health Net to the 5th District. They had their ribbon cutting ceremony last Thursday. It's a beautiful facility. They also have a community room there, and the 5th District will have their next community meeting at Community Health Net Center in their community room. This will be Monday, July the 22nd at 5:30. The location, 3503 Martin Luther King Drive. Look forward to seeing you there. Also, Boards and Commissions has 2 vacancies. The deadline to apply is Friday, July the 5th at 5 p.m. We have a vacancy for the Fire Civil Service Commission, a Republican position, and the South Shore Convention and Visitor Center. So all interested, please submit your letter of interest and your resume to the Gary Common Council, 401 Broadway, Suite 103. Attention, Councilwoman Linda Barnes Caldwell. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Wade.
I too would like to congratulate Community Health Net, Dr. Janet Seabrook, and the staff at that fine facility that actually used to be the 6th District. I sure hate that it's not anymore. But Dr. Seabrook and I attended Tuskegee University together, and she's doing a fine job in the city of Gary. We really appreciate her bringing back and just being a great citizen for our city. They also have a mobile unit, and they're able to take services to the people. And I didn't see Sean Jones in here, but I understand he was extremely instrumental in making sure that they got that mobile unit. He found it for them in another state. So again, thank you, Dr. Seabrook, and all of the staff there. I would like to say condolences to the family of Deacon John Scott. Actually, he is my uncle. My mother was married to his brother, Deacon James Scott, who passed away a few years ago. But Deacon John Scott was a deacon at the New Bethel Missionary Baptist Church for like forever. And everybody knows Deacon, a lot of people know Deacon John Scott. He never met a stranger. He cared for the church's lawn over there and kept it beautiful. And so we'll definitely miss Deacon John Scott. And finally, I would like to speak on the article that appeared in the Northwest Indiana Times on yesterday online and today in the hard copy of the newspaper in regards to a consultant that we're using for the sale leaseback, Comer and Associates. And on June 27th, as a matter of fact, we were having an executive session in regards to the sale leaseback. And while we were yet meeting, Mr. Comer and Comer and Associates was being charged by the SEC for leading astray their client and failing to protect the interests of their client, the city of Harvey's library district, on a $6 million bond issue, which caused the city of Harvey over the course of, by the time they get through paying for this bond, and they entered into this agreement in 2014, by the time they get through paying for this bond, they will have paid $500,000 more than they should have. And I find it unsettling at the least, because this is a conversation that we've been having for some time. These are the concerns that we've addressed, that we've articulated, that we've been talking about since last year, and being led astray and not protecting the interests of our client, the people of the city of Gary. Now, the deal isn't closed, and the deal isn't done, and we still have an opportunity to rethink what we're doing before we put the people of Gary on the hook for the next 20 years, where our children and our children's children will be paying back the debt that we've incurred. And yes, there's a better way. And yes, we can put a team of people together to ensure that the city of Gary does not go bankrupt. And yes, there's a better way. And so I would again implore this administration. I understand that from the comments that the mayor made that she's not concerned. Well, you know, I don't think Bernie Madoff's clients would have replied that way. And had somebody stopped him, I think they would have been appreciative. And I'm not saying that he's on the scale of Bernie Madoff, but what I am saying is that this is a professional business for the consultant, and our responsibility as your council members elected by the people is to protect your interests as best we can. And when we have information like this, come on guys, we have to act accordingly. Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome. Any other council members? Councilman White.
Yes, we're coming up to the 4th of July holiday. We're coming up to the 4th of July holiday, so I just wanted to wish everyone a happy and safe celebration. Be mindful of the heat and apparently the rain as well. And then on Friday, the 5th, the Miller Beach section of Gary will be having its regular First Friday, where each of the shops and restaurants are open and they have special deals, and it's just a good time to get out. That's from 5 until 7. So if any of you can make it out to the Lake Street in the Miller section of Gary on July 5th, that would be good. On July 8th, we will be having an Art, Culture, and History Committee meeting that will be here at, it will be at City Hall in the Cleo Wesson Lounge at 6 p.m. everyone is invited, and we'd like to have as many as possible. We're taking input on anything related to the art and culture and history of the city. And finally, we have a First District Community Meeting, which is scheduled for July 22nd, and we did not have a meeting in June, so I would encourage everyone to try to get out. We have a lot of things to discuss in the First District. We're having the renovation of Lake Street in the Business District is going on right now. We just received no proposals responses to the request for proposals for the Lake Street Beach development, so we need to talk about how that affects the First District. So remember, that is Monday, July 22nd. It will be 6 p.m. and it's at Marquette Park Pavilion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Any other council members?
Mr. President,
Councilman Brown.
good evening, everyone. I just want to take this time to thank the Garrett firefighters for their commitment in cleaning up Buffington Park on Friday and Saturday. And that's awesome because we'll be going there tomorrow for our parade. We're in there. Also, I want to thank them for, as well as the Garrett Police Department, for participating in our peace march that we had in Glen Park Saturday. We had a great turnout. A lot of families out there. People need to understand that when you lose your loved ones, their lives, your lives are affected. But when you lose your loved ones, we shouldn't forget them. We should celebrate the life that they had. And so we're grateful for all the participants that arrived. Our president was there, and there were others there as well. So we're a community that needs to continue to support each other. And so the best thing for us to do is to keep working. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Any other council members? I'll just echo my colleagues on the open house and ribbon cutting of the new center, that's a community health net center that's taking place on 3503 Martin Luther King Street. I went past the facility. It's a very nice new healthcare facility that's inside the city. Just looking forward to the growth and them being a great provider and a great partner inside our city as a new business. Also, there will be, that's July the 14th at 3 p.m. The new pastor of the Israel CME Church, Octavius Wilson, will be installed as the new pastor there. Asking everyone that can to come out. That'll be July the 14th at 3 p.m. at the Israel CME Church. Give an update to the council and to the citizens with the work that's going on at City Hall, and especially concerning the chambers of the council. Roofing work is continuing to go on at this time. They are now putting the stonework at the top of the building back on. At this time, the roof is scheduled to be completed by the first part of August. They will start interior work after that. So I'm looking at a September 1st meeting back inside the chambers there. But the process is going on. I have made my own personal walks on the roof personally myself. So we want to make sure everything is all together before we even go back in. But we're making a scheduled date to go back in September 1st, our first council meeting. Also, I want to just make a reference to, I know Councilwoman Sparks Wade made a comment to one of the representatives working on the deal for the sale lease back there. And I would just reference this into you're innocent until proven guilty. He has been a great worker into this deal here. We have did the proper bidding selection for this deal here. I have looked at the complaint that have come in, and it's totally different than what we're dealing with here, and there's no similarities to what we have done. We have gotten the proper responses back in a timely fashion, and it has made sure that the information went out to all council members. I believe only one council member said that they were not able to get the information, and I know IT needs to work with her to make sure she's able to download all the information. But all the information did come back to this body here, that you know everyone that put in proposals to work on the deal there. So I'll just leave it at that. At this time, we will go to Councilman pending ordinance and resolution on third and final.
CPO 2019-37, an ordinance amending Title 15 entitled Land Usage, Chapter 123 entitled Zoning Code of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gary, Indiana, petition Hatham Slice, 9557 South Kenneth Avenue, Oak Lawn, Illinois, property at 5130 West Ridge Road, Gary, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Smith.
I move for passage of CPO 2019-37.
Second.
Moving properly second. Overview at this time. Our Chief of Staff, Ms. Bennett, is coming at this time.
Good evening, council, constituents. Hatham Suites is petitioning for a use variance to operate a used car lot at 5130 West Ridge Road. He currently operates a car lot across the street in unincorporated Lake County. He wants to move the business into Gary and has purchased a property at 5130 West Ridge Road with the intention of demolishing the existing vacant building and constructing a fenced parking lot and office. It is a condition of the variance that no general business license will be issued to Mr. Suisse or any used car lot operator in the future without first having a landscape plan approved by the Planning and Zoning Department. 22 notices were mailed to neighbors within 400 feet, 9 provided no response, 1 opposed, 1 not opposed, 11 undeliverable. BZA heard this petition on May 14, 2019 and voted to approve.
Any questions by any council members at this time? Thank you, Ms. Bennett. At this time, public portion is now open. Anyone would like to speak for or against CPO 2019-37? You have 3 minutes to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none, public portion is now closed. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Proto?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt? Yes. And President Moore?
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
With a vote of 8-0, CPO 2019-37 passes on third and final, and so ordered.
CPO 2019-40, an ordinance amending Title 15 entitled Land Usage, Chapter 123 entitled Zoning Code of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gary, Indiana. Petitioner Diane Cardwell, 1987 Arthur Street, Gary, Indiana. Property at 1987 Arthur Street, Gary, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Smith.
move for passage of CPO 2019-40 on third and final.
Second.
And moving properly second. Overview at this time.
Diane Cardwell is petitioning for a special use permit to operate a home daycare at 1987 Arthur Street. 75 notices were mailed to neighbors within 400 feet, 33 provided no response, 3 were opposed, 6 were not opposed, 30 were undeliverable. BZA heard this petition on June 11, 2019 and voted to not approve. BZA found the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use will be injurious to the use and enjoyment of the properties in the immediate vicinity, given that there are 3 other daycares in the immediate vicinity per state licensing data. BZA determined that such a high concentration of daycares in the residential area would be a disturbance to other neighbors and would impact the residential character of the neighborhood.
Questions from council members at this time?
Mr. President.
Councilman Brown.
Didn't this issue came up in the study session regarding the fact that by no means can we say to someone that they can't open up a daycare facility just because there's some in the other area. They have the right to be competitive, am I right?
You're right, sir. Yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions, council members? At this time, public portion is now open. Anyone like to speak for or against CPO 2019-40? You have 3 minutes. You can go to the mic here to my left, your right. You have 3 minutes to speak on this ordinance.
Yes, everyone.
I live in the 1900 block of Arthur Street, and I oppose of this daycare 1,000%. There's, as they mentioned, 3 other daycares in the neighborhood. There's senior citizens in the neighborhood. Most of the residents that live on that block are the owners, the children of the owners who originally lived there. And we have kept the community up, the block up, we're safe, and bringing another daycare in 24 hours, 7 days a week, it would be nerve-wracking. Loud music, there's trash, possibly, I'm not saying that they do, but we want to avoid all of these problems with this daycare coming to our neighborhood. And I am very, very fearful of it because we've had incidents, too much traffic in the neighborhood. Nowhere to park, where am I going to park? How am I getting in and out of my driveway? How am I going to do that? And then you get in confrontation with the parents picking up or dropping off. Who wants, at a senior citizen, who wants to get in confrontations about going in my own home? And I pray that you all oppose this and consider the residents who live there. Again, we have special needs children, adults that live there, 60 to 70 years old. They can't protect themselves. We have 80 to 90-year-old single individuals that live there. The individuals have strokes. So the neighborhood, again, is the original children of the original owners. And if you didn't take care of yourself, you have health issues. So you can't, be combative with different people coming in and out 24 hours a day. And even when the music is played, the houses tremble because people they're not nice enough to turn the music down. And this is a residential neighborhood, and please allow us to continue to live with integrity. Thank you.
Yes, right after. Go ahead, Mel.
To the president and to the council. My question was to them. They said that it would be open 24 hours. And when I was at the last meeting, I was told that no one's living there. It would be open. So are they going to be there when the kids are coming in, or just open all day long and all night if somebody called? The councilman said that they couldn't disapprove it because of the budget. Because of competitiveness in the neighborhood. So it's 3, if it's my understanding, it's 3 that's in that neighborhood. So then there's a 4th one to come in the same neighborhood. So you're going to say you can't do it because of competitiveness. But I don't see what we need another daycare right there next door across the street with all this traffic that's going right through there. So it's been a lot of things that I have been there for 40 years. It's been a lot of things that has changed, a lot of things that's going on, and I just don't want another daycare that's right there. It's so close to us, and we already have 3 other daycares there.
Okay, I agree with that. Well, let me let the public speak, and then we'll come back with the questions. Somebody we want to bring up, we can do that too.
Are they all never?
My name is Lola Price, and I want to speak in behalf of Ms. Cardwell. I feel that she should have the right for her daycare. I am 70 years old. It does not make a difference. Somebody might move in that neighborhood, in that house, with a house full of kids. Could be terrible. It doesn't matter. We live our life. Other people have to live and make a living. And I just feel that it's right she should have her daycare. Thank you.
This is public portion. Anyone like to speak on this ordinance?
I oppose the daycare. In section 10-5, it says that there should be no more than 2 public home-based businesses established within the city block. I'm not sure if that is for this incident. Also, there has been a lot of break-ins. The police don't even patrol that area on a regular basis. Even all times of night, there's people walking around. There has been incidents with some of our neighbors when people breaking into their cars, breaking into their houses as early as 3 in the morning. So when they're leaving early to go to their early morning shifts at work. So there's some criminal activities going on, but the police, they're not even over there. So we did try to reach out to the police department and see if they can patrol the neighborhood, but we didn't even get any response on that end. So I do oppose that.
Is there anyone else from the public? Public portion is now closed. Councilwoman Caldwell?
How many daycares are actually on 19th and Arthur right now?
And can I have the zoning director to come to the microphone? Licensed daycare that we have on the books.
What was the question? How many daycares are currently on that block? Yes. There's one directly across the street. According to state licensing data, there's one directly across the street at 1988 Arthur Street, which we did give a special use permit for last year. And then there are 2 within 2 blocks on either side.
Okay, so it's just one on that block already?
Yes.
Okay, and then you have maybe a group home or something on that block? You don't? Okay, so maybe it's down the street. Yeah. There's a group home down there. Did you all oppose that? No, I just asked the question if they opposed the group home. Okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Is there anything else for Councilman Brown?
Yep.
So there's only one daycare in the 1900 block of Arthur there. I know you mentioned about 2 and some others 2 blocks away. So on that particular street, there's only one at this time, in that 100 block.
At this time,
At
yes.
this time. And I believe she had an ordinance, she read an ordinance regarding you couldn't have no more than 2.
That ordinance has not been passed. That's on first reading, so that should not really,
What about that ordinance?
that ordinance has not been passed. That's on first reading, so that shouldn't come into effect here.
No, it's not that. It's not an ordinance. Coming out later. Councilwoman White.
Right, I was not able to attend the planning committee meeting because it was on a Wednesday and I had a conflict. But I would ask, who owns the property where the daycare would be located?
Do we have the petitioner?
Petitioners here? Is the petitioner? Yes.
Yes.
This is the petitioner. Can you take the microphone at this time?
Hi, everybody. How you doing today? Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming, everyone.
So the question that Councilwoman Wyatt just asked was, who owns the property?
Well, who manages the property? The owner is, what's the name that own it? Weatherton, yes. But the manager, her son is managing our property.
So you're just renting the property?
I'm just renting the property.
Is there a lease that's in place?
Yes.
What's your terms of your lease? Is it 1 year renewal or what is the term?
It's, she said that I can have it as long as the daycare is running.
Is that what's in the lease currently now?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen the lease, Ms.?
For the special use permit, we require a notarized letter of approval from the owner, so that's what I've reviewed.
You have
Yes.
received it? Okay. All right. Councilwoman, I'm sorry, Nikki.
What do you have for parking at that area?
Well, they won't be parked. We do have a driveway, and we do have parking in front of the house and on the side of the house because we're close to the corner. So they'll just be dropping off and leaving, and everyone won't be there at the same time.
So you have a driveway that someone would pull into, drop off?
Yes, to drop the kids off, yes, ma'am.
Go back out. And there was a question from one of the people who opposed that apparently you had said that we were open 24 hours.
Monday through Friday, 24 hours and no holidays.
So will there be someone staying there at the
Yes.
house? And will that be you?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't live there?
I will be, yes, ma'am.
You will be living there as well as having children?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you run a daycare in the past?
No, but I've worked in daycare. Right now, I'm currently a CNA, and I have took care of the mentally disabled before.
I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to attend the committee meetings. I
That's okay.
asked questions that you probably answered already. But is this for minor children then?
Yes, ma'am. So they won't be doing any robbing or anything. And we won't have loud music. We won't have loud music. There won't be no parties.
And you have an outside area for the children?
We do. We have a gated backyard. We have cameras up as well, inside the house and outside the house. And we have lighting outside the house as well.
And you have potential children to be in that daycare?
Yes, ma'am.
And last question, how many will you have?
We can only have 12 at one time.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. President, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to know.
No, ma'am.
Sorry. Person you said that owns that property and the person that's the manager of that property. And that person reached out to the neighbors. How long has he had that property? And what type of relationship do we have with residents that's living in that block?
Well, I'm not sure, but I believe he talked to some of the neighbors. And he said that no one ever mentioned it to him, so I'm not sure.
Mr. President.
Councilman Wade.
Ms. Cartwell, would you make it a part of the contract with your clientele that they turn their music down before entering into the neighborhood?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Brown?
We've done the study session. We've done the study session, but I see some of the concerns of the residents. I live in a neighborhood where I have seniors on both sides of me. And in fact, the neighborhood that I live in, Glen Park, most of the people on my block are seniors. So I understand the concerns about the loud music, the traffic, and as well. So one of the things that I'm concerned about is, how do we get this relationship to be a plus? Because the residents are not very welcoming of this, yet at the same time, we're trying to be a business-oriented council and try to make improvements in our community. So somewhere, there has to be something that we need to do to try to come to a better solution, because I'm concerned for the residents as well as for the person who wants to do business.
Councilman Brown.
Y'all stay on the next block, and you stay on that block. Right, yes, ma'am, I understand that. But I don't think there'll be no problem.
Okay, let me recommend this for us, my colleagues, and we voted the way we want to. But I will ask if we will amend this and add a one-year contingency on this. This can be revisited within 1 year if things are not going the way that the residents feel that it should be going. They can revisit it back with the council. If the council should pass this, we will put a 1 year term on this, where it's not a full year life of the daycare. It will have to come back within 1 year if there are problems with the daycare. I will say this, I've been in this situation before, and I've been in a situation where half the neighbors before, half the neighbors wasn't. It falls on your part. If this is approved, you have to really make sure that your clients respect the neighborhood.
Yes.
I know the kids don't blast music, but I have every now and then, one or two may come to music, and I'm like, hey, if your kid's gonna come here, you have to stay on your clientele, and you can't give room for leeway, you know?
Right.
I'm talking about the respect of parking in front of people's houses, where you know residents parking at a spot there. It has to be, if you're gonna be that good neighbor there, if you want them to really support your daycare, and it could be a win for the whole community, because at the same time, if a crime where drug-related happens in that neighborhood, because you are a daycare, those trump those charges up on an individual. And I know one of our commanders is here also too, but that's a plus where it comes to crime and safety also too. So it will fall on you to make sure that you're a good neighbor if the council should grant this. But that will be my recommendation to this body here, a 1-year contingency on this. And if there's any problem, it will come back to this council here to be revisited.
Mr. Chair.
Councilman Brown.
Just one more thing I want to add. The concern I had about them saying that the police weren't responding. You know, I live in Gary, and I see police all the time. And sometimes I'm just going to have to defend them. Because at the end of the day, I think we need to clearly understand that sometimes we don't call the police when they need to come. You know, because I've had this situation where I've come home, and my neighbor said, well, such a thing happened. I said, well, you call police? No, don't wait on me, pick up the phone. And so I'm saying to the rest of the people that are listening, as well as the residents in the community, pick up the phone. Don't be so quick to point the finger at the police department. You know, let's work together. I go throughout the state of Indiana, I see other communities, and the reason why those communities are doing better is because everyone is working together. And if we're going to ever get there, we're going to have to work together. And if there's an issue with the police department, there's a command, as he said, in the back room right there. I think you guys should go back there and have a conversation with them and try to get, you know, some numbers and some things that we can do. Because what district you all live in? Third, fourth district? And come to those to those district meetings and voice your opinion, because those are very important. Maybe form a block club, whatever you think you need to do. But we cannot just keep pointing the finger at each other. We've got to work together. If we can pray together, we've got to work together. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Councilman Smith.
Yep, I'm still here. Till December 31st. I'm going to side with the homeowners. And the reason I'm going to side with the homeowners, because they made an investment. They chose to move in that neighborhood. They invested their whole life savings, the integrity of the neighborhood. They want to maintain that. And we constantly allowing daycares and people to come in with businesses. I had a lady who wanted to put one next door to me. I tried to run her out of here as fast as I could, and I wasn't on the council. I got everybody on the block to come on and told her, no, not happening in my neighborhood. But we want our neighborhood to maintain its integrity. We invested our dollars in there. You know, that's where I'm going to retire at. I don't want nobody next door to me, or 5 of them next door to me with flags in the yard, talking about this is a daycare. You know, that's not what they invested in. You got to recognize that. These people live there. And yes, we may not be able to borrow them for competitiveness, and we want to be a business-oriented city, but that doesn't mean they can't go somewhere else. But just constantly putting these things next door to everybody coming out of different cities and stuff. I know one lady came here to this council from Illinois. She had 3 of them on 21st. But she never knew. I bet you she don't have them next door to her.
You all approved it.
From Gary, so I'm doing Gary.
Yeah, they approved it.
Yeah, but I just don't think it's right that you just destroy the integrity of the neighborhood. People put their life in their home. What more do you have when you make that investment? I mean, that's it. I want to go home in peace and quiet. I want to sit in my backyard. I don't want to see a bunch of people running up and down the street. So I'm going to say flat out, my vote is going to be no, not against you. But if you find another place, then, you know, we talk about it. But, you know, these people have a right to live in peace and quiet in their neighborhood.
They label you.
But 3 or 4 of them around there. Okay. All right, thank you.
Is there any more question for the petitioner before we continue in our discussion, Councilman? Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Venus. Thank you. For the discussion, Councilman. Let me just say, we hear the words "move somewhere else" all the time. Where is somewhere else? I'll just like to find out where that is. And we talk about our kids and how we want our kids to be in a safe environment and things of that nature. When do we start establishing a safe environment? We have to start somewhere. I think the 1 year contingency is fair. These are kids. I mean, we're not saying she's opened up some for, grown folks to come back to being a halfway house or something like that. These are little kids. The average kid she may have is from probably an infant up to 5-year-olds, and you might have a few kids that come after school. I have a daycare. My wife runs a daycare. Trust me, those little jokers are not a threat to me or none of my neighbors. But their parents are very respectful, and it falls on the provider to make sure that the atmosphere is set, how people conduct themselves. We haven't had not one person, one petitioner yet that we had to call back in and say that they've been a nuisance to the neighborhood because of a daycare. We haven't had it. We have not had to bring not one back in. And if it is so, please give us a call and we'll deal with it. But we have not had that situation. So at this time, that's my comment on it. I'll move for a roll call at this time. And we'll vote it up, vote it down.
Councilwoman Brown.
Let's do the amendment first, the 1 year condition. So this is a roll, the motion to amend.
Second.
Been moving to property second. But we can make it big for me. Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you. And then the property second by Councilman Brown. This is a roll call on the amendment only for the 1 year condition. This is not the roll call for the vote yet, for the daycare. Roll call on amendment at this time.
Councilwoman Brown.
No.
Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Poco. Yes. Councilman Smith.
No.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt.
Yes.
President Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 6 yes, 2 no.
With 6 yes, 2 no, the amendment for CPO 2019-37 is in place. It's a 1 year contingency that's now inside of this ordinance here. Roll call on CPO 2019-37. That's your ordinance now. 40, I'm sorry, 40.
Councilwoman Brown.
No.
Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Proto. Councilman Smith.
No.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt.
Yes.
And President Brewer.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 5 yes, 3 no.
5 yes, 3 no. CPO 2019-40 passed on third and final with a 1 year condition to come back before this council. So ordered.
CPO 2019-41, in order to amend Title 15 entitled Land Usage, Chapter 123 entitled Zoning Code of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gary, Indiana, petitioner Francine Brookshire Mack, 3600 West 11th Avenue, Gary, Indiana, property at 3610 West 11th Avenue, Gary, Indiana.
Mr. President.
Councilman Smith.
Yes, sir. I move for passage of CPO 2019-41 on third and final.
Second.
Been moving properly second. Overview at this time.
Francine Brookshire Mack is petitioning for a special use permit to operate a home daycare at 3610 West 11th Avenue. Ms. Frankie has operated a daycare at this location for 19 years. She only just found out from the state that she is required to get a general business license, and in order to get a general business license, she is required to get a special use permit. 43 notices were mailed to neighbors within 400 feet. 26 provided no response, 2 were opposed, 4 were not opposed, 11 were undeliverable. BZA has heard this petition on June 11, 2019, and voted to approve.
Any questions, council members? Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Tonight is set aside public portion. Anyone would like to speak for or against CPO 2019-41? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. Any further discussion from council members? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Proto? Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Spottswood?
Yes.
Councilwoman White?
Yes.
President Wu?
Yes.
Mr. President, the vote is 8-0.
Vote of 8-0, CPO 2019-41, pass on third and final, so ordered.
CPO 2019-42, an ordinance amending Title 15 entitled Land Use, Chapter 123 entitled Zoning Code of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gary, Indiana. Petition Robin Chris, 520 North Miami Street, Gary, Indiana. Property at 520 Miami Street, Gary, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Council Smith.
I move for passage of CPO 2019-42 on third and final.
Second.
Been moving properly second. Overview at this time.
Robin Chris is petitioning for a special use permit to operate a home daycare at 520 Miami Street. 71 notices were mailed to neighbors within 400 feet, 35 were delivered and provided no response, 15 were opposed, 2 were not opposed, 27 were undeliverable. BZA heard this petition on June 11, 2019, and voted to not approve. BZA found the establishment, maintenance, or operation of the special use would be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community based upon information received from neighbors. Many neighbors wrote or called in with concerns regarding Ms. Chris' ability and willingness to maintain her property to the standards necessary to operate this type of business without disrupting the neighborhood. Neighbors cited large piles of trash and debris on her property as problematic. For example, receiving 15 complaints from neighbors from this type of petition is very abnormal. BZA was concerned with the public opposition to the permit.
Any questions, council members? Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Public portion now open. Anyone like to speak for or against CPO 2019-42? Seeing none, public portion is now closed. Discussion, council members. Let me just say, I had a chance to make a visit to this daycare here, and I do have a concern outside your fence area. There's a drop-off there. Even though there's a fence there, I have a concern about that area there, so that troubles me there. So that's my biggest concern. There's concerns about the reports that I got back from the neighbors. I've had some discussion with some of your neighbors there. There's some things that I'm not comfortable with some of the things that I've heard. So I cannot support it because of the safety hazard that I see with the kids and with zero support off your block for this daycare that will come in. So with that, I cannot support it.
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Wade.
It is unusual to have so many written complaints back from neighbors, and although the petitioner defended her position at the committee meeting, I'm not satisfied that we would be doing children justice in this regard. And I would, my vote is going to be no. And if it does not pass, I would implore the petitioner to work on some things prior to ensure that the project goes forth if she wants to continue with it, if it does not pass on tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I'm just curious with all those written letters, none of them showed up today?
None showed up today. They expressed to me that they sent their, that is pleased with the daycare.
And I kind of counted the houses on the block. I didn't even see that many houses, so I was just concerned.
It's not a big block. It's not the average city block.
I went over and drove through and looked around. Yes, I said I would. I think we should work with what's her name, Miss Crisp, and maybe the building department or whoever, so that she can get to the level that she needs to be, where whatever it is that she's missing or needs. You mentioned about the drop-off.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how you correct that situation there with the drop-off behind the fence line there. How do you correct that?
President, just for the information of the council, if this fails, it will not be able to come back for 1 year from the date on which it fails. So be mindful of that. If there's going to be an attempt to give the individual more time, then the matter should probably be deferred or tabled. But if it is voted down, it will be barred from coming back for 1 year. Thank you.
Councilwoman White.
Again, I was unable to attend the planning committee meeting because it was scheduled for Wednesday, and I had several that this is in my district, and I would ask that you defer so that I can look into it a little bit more, and if there are concerns that the petitioner could address, either without losing her opportunity to petition,
Any other council members?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilman Smith.
I'm going to vote no on this because in the committee meeting, when we asked about how will you house the children inside the facility or the building, one of the comments was someone will be housed in the kitchen. Now, come on, y'all, we ain't cooking it. I mean, I'm just not, I'm just not with this, no.
Councilman Brown.
I would agree with Councilman from the first district. I would also like to defer, because it appears that, yes, Mr. Councilman Smith, I would like to defer. I understand your position. But again, I'm asking as well, because I was in the committee hearing, I saw the concerns then, I see the concerns from my president, and I heard what our attorney said. If we do vote it down, it's going to take a year before she can come back. Now, if we defer it and it's not resolved by the next meeting, then we're fine. Let's give
Yeah, I think we should defer.
her an opportunity. Let's give the first district councilperson an opportunity, and I think it just needs to happen. So I'm asking you, you're the chair, am I right, Councilman? Yeah. So I'm asking Mr. Chair if you'd be kind. Thank you very much.
I'm not willing to defer it, but if it gets 5 votes, then I guess it would have to be deferred, but if it's left up to me, I'm not for deferral, no. I'm just saying, if she has to go do it over again and get her neighbors on board, go do that and come back to us next year.
Mr. President, a motion to defer is at the discretion of the president. So it's up to the president of the council whether you will entertain the motion to defer or not. It's your decision.
Is there any other discussion on this matter before I move to that motion?
I would like for it to be deferred. That's just my own opinion.
I will entertain that motion to defer. Councilman Brown.
Motion to defer.
Second, by Councilwoman Wade. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to defer CPO 2019-42.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Proto?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
What do we vote on?
We defer it.
No.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt?
Yes.
President Brewer?
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 7 yes, 1 no.
With 7 yes and 1 no, CPO 2019-42 has been referred back to the Planning Committee.
Good, okay. It ain't coming out.
CPO 2019-43, an ordinance amending Title 15 entitled Land Usage, Chapter 123 entitled Zoning Code, of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Gary, Indiana. Petitioner Chairman Stewart, 2920 Wabash Avenue, Gary, Indiana. Property at 425 East 47th Place, Gary, Indiana.
Mr. President,
1 minute, Mr. Smith. Madam Chair, and for the council and for the record, I will be abstaining from this vote here. I have a conflict here with this vote, so I will be abstaining for the record. Councilman Smith.
okay, I move for passage of CPO 2019-43 on third and final reading.
Second.
Been moving properly second. At this time, we have an overview by Chief of Staff.
Chairman Stewart is petitioning to operate a home daycare at 245 East 47th Place. 77 notices were mailed to neighbors within 400 feet. 40 were delivered and provided no response. 0 were opposed. 3 were not opposed. 29 were undeliverable. Ms. Stewart does not own nor does she live in the property, but she has a letter from the property owner granting her permission to operate the business. At the council committee hearing, she was asked to provide a lease agreement in addition to that letter. BZA heard this petition on June 11, 2019, and voted to approve.
Is there any questions from council members at this time? Councilwoman Wyatt.
Did we back in the lease that was requested?
We did not.
The petitioner is here at this time. Can you please come to the mic at this time? Councilwoman White has asked a question, do you have a lease to present to us at this time?
I have a lease, I have it with me, I was running it and left it at work, but I do have a lease. She's giving it to me, but like I said, I've left it at work today, running late.
Is there any other questions from council members while the petition is at the mic?
Yes,
The written letter?
Okay. Mr. President,
Councilwoman White?
again, it's not able to attend the planning committee. Have you done this kind of work before?
no ma'am, this will be my first time operating a daycare.
Y'all got to deal with it, not me. He said you don't have to deal with it.
Do you have any potential children?
Oh, yes ma'am, I do have potential children, yes ma'am.
Do you have the state approval to operate a daycare?
But that's the last thing we're waiting on now, going through the process, and the last step would be for the state to come out. Yes, ma'am.
The state can't move until we make our decision, then the state acts after us.
So just for my information, the state doesn't approve the Article 4 rates to approve the property. I mean, I would think that they would want to know who's operating, but I don't know how the state.
Yes, they do that. Yeah, they do the background checks and things like
They
that.
don't do that until after we.
Right.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
Any other council member for petition at this time? Councilmember Brown?
When we were in the committee hearings, you did mention you had some interaction with children through your church
Yes,
or
I
something like that?
Church, within my family, I have a host of nieces and nephews that pretty much stay with me. I have nieces that come stay months at a time during the summer when school is out. And then within the church, I operate within the youth department. So.
Your hours, what are your hours going to be?
We will be, for the daycare, right?
Yes,
Okay, we'll be licensed for 24 hours, and then it'll be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
6 to 6, Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing else? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Public portion is now open for anyone who would like to speak for or against CPO 2019-43. You have 3 minutes to speak on this ordinance. Seeing none, public portion is now closed. Is there any other questions from council member, discussion? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell?
Yes.
Councilman Proko?
Yes.
Councilman Smith?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Brown? And President Booth.
Abstain.
Mr. President, the vote is 7 yes, 1 abstention.
For 7 years, 1 abstention, CPO 2019-43 passes on third and final and so ordered.
Mr. President, is pending ordinances and resolutions on
We have had a very interesting night tonight with daycare. It's coming in a lot of different forms on tonight. Didn't make mention to Ms., and this is just for public knowledge, to Ms. Brookshower that did her daycare, and there was no comment from council members. Ms. Brookshower had been operating her daycare for many years, but didn't know that we had passed where all daycares have to be licensed throughout the city and have a city business license displayed. So she came through the process. That's why there wasn't, we took care of that inside a committee meeting also. I would just ask the petitioner, in Miami Street, when you come back before the council, try to have another conversation with your neighbors and see what can be done. I know, that's what I got too. But see what you can do about that situation behind that fence there. If you can get a contractor to see what can be done about that, but that's a concern of mine, yes. At this time, we will have the report from our chief of staff, mayor's report. I'm sorry, I really jumped the gun. Second reading, I'm on my way out of here. Council orders and resolution on second reading. We're going to do all finance together, all at one swoop. Okay.
CPO 2019-44, ordinance appropriating 2019 budgets for the operating expenses and salaries of grants and special revenue funds for health and human services, Genesis Tourism, police auction, and fire wellness grant for the city of Gary for the fiscal year beginning April 1st, 2019, ending December 31st, 2019. Sponsored by Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, City of Gary, Angela Hayes, City Controller. CPO 2019-45, an ordinance of the City of Gary, Indiana, amending the city fee schedule, ordinance 8968, by increasing establishing fees for the City of Gary properties. Sponsored by Angela Hayes, City Controller. CPO 2019-47, an ordinance to further restrict motor vehicle highway funds. Sponsored by Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson, City of Gary, Angela Hayes, City Controller.
Mr. President, I move for passage of CPO 2019-44, CPO 2019-45, and 2019-47 on second reading. Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, July 9th at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing on July 16th.
Second.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Proto. Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade. Yes. Councilwoman Yes. And President Bowie.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8.
Order 8-0, CPO 2019-44, 45, and 47 is moved to the Finance Committee July the 9th, 2019 at 5:30 p.m. and a public hearing July the 16th at 6 p.m. right here at our house.
CPO 2019-46, an ordinance defining and regulating the establishment of public home-based business in residential areas, sponsored by Sarah Kavitas, Director of Planning.
Mr. President,
Councilman Smith.
I would like to do the two of them together if we could.
She doesn't have to report the other one out. Okay. Just go ahead and sign it.
Okay. Okay, Mr. President, I move for passage of CPO 2019-46 and CPO 2019-42 on second reading with the planning meeting on July 9th, 5 p.m. and a public hearing on July 16th, 6 p.m.
Second.
Moving properly second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Brown.
Yes.
Councilman Brown.
Yes.
Councilwoman Caldwell.
Yes.
Councilman Proto. Yes. Councilman Smith.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sparks Wade.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wyatt. Yes. President Bowie.
Yes.
Mr. President, vote is 8-0.
Order 8-0, CPO 2019-42 and 46 moving to the Planning Committee July the 9th, 2019 at 5 p.m. and a public hearing July the 16th at 6 p.m. right here at our house.
Mr. President, it's pending ordinance and resolutions, a second reading.
Thank you. At this time, we will have our chief of staff come at this time. Mayor's report.
The city recently hosted its annual job fair on June 19th at the Railcat Stadium. The fair was one of the largest hiring events in the region with 40 or more employers participating. The city partnered with the Gary Reentry Coalition and sponsors to host this event. 100 attended and got applications in and information about jobs in the region. The city hosted our 15th annual Clean Water Celebration, June 20th through the 22nd at Marquette Park. The Gary Stormwater Management District, in collaboration with the Department of Environmental Affairs and Green Urbanism, presented a 3-day event with the support of Gary Parks and Recreations and other clean water partners. Along with the Green Infrastructure Workshop, activities at the festival included free canoeing and paddling on the lagoon, free paddle boat rides, kayak rides, beach safety, fishing education, nature, creative art demonstration, water quality presentations, fitness in the park, nature hikes, informational booths, and refreshments. We also hosted a 5x5x5 cleanup in the 4th District, kicked off this past Thursday. Focus areas were from 15th to 21st Avenues, from Harrison Street to Grant Street. We thank our city partners and community volunteers and other partners for their support. We want to commend our Gary Fire Department for the cleanup at Buffington Park at 7th and Connecticut Street over the weekend. About 45 firefighters of local Union 359 partnered with the Parks Department to remove debris, dead trees and stumps, cut grass, clean up around the monument and splash pad. Firefighters say that this is their way of giving back to the community and helping to beautify the neighborhood. We also want to commend Mr. Glenn Taylor, a time for a change in our community and president for East 49th Avenue Block Club and founder of the Stop the Violence, who hosted a march and block party on Saturday. Mr. Taylor presents the event each year in memory of his son, Richard Taylor, who was lost to gun violence. It was an awesome event. Our Independence Day Parade will be new and different this year. We will present the parade tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. The parade will be held on Broadway from 15th Avenue to 6th Avenue, along with Gary's own performing arts groups and talents. This year, we will welcome for the first time the South Shore Drill Team of Chicago. We will also have fireworks sponsored by Spectacle Entertainment and Majestic Stars Casino to climax the celebration. Residents are encouraged to come to the evening parade and enjoy the fireworks at dusk downtown. Viewing will be available from the parking lot surrounding the Railcat Stadium. Thanks to Spectacle Entertainment and other sponsors, Indiana University, Northwest, and Powers & Sons Construction. Perhaps some have noticed the Love My Block billboards that have recently gone up in the city. The billboards are a part of the National League of Cities Summer of Love campaign. NLC designed the billboards, which feature 5 community leaders, including the mayor, with a short quote about why they love the city of Gary. The Parks Department will host I Love My City Food Truck Block Fest at Marquette Park Pavilion Saturday, July 13th from 2 to 8 p.m. There will be activities for the whole family. The Public Works Department has moved to 900 Madison Street. However, you will still be able to pick up open-air permits at City Hall. Just as a reminder, City Hall and other municipal offices will be closed Thursday, July 4th in observance of the Independence Day holiday. Regular hours will resume on Friday, July 5th. We'd like to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday.
Is there any questions for the Chief of Staff or any council members at this time? Councilwoman.
Do you have any paving going on right now?
There will be additional paving that will likely happen at the end of the summer, assuming some of the pending transactions close.
Any other? Council members? Thank you, Ms. Bennett. Tonight we have a couple of speakers, Ms. Ann Walker, Ms. Kendra Johnson, no, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Nowacki, and Mr. Hayes. Mr. Hayes, be our last speaker. Ms. Walker.
Good evening, most gracious council members and all the people that are here. Oh, it's quite a bit of few folks here today. All I want to know, I hear that Gary is putting up all these truck stops and all these daycare centers. They are putting up daycares every council meeting. We got 2 or 3 going up. This is ridiculous. Where are these kids coming from? Because there's old folks here. Where is all these kids coming from for them to have all these daycares? And another thing I want to ask, why are they fixing up all these streets and then tearing them all up and then not fixing them back up? That's all I want to know. I wish you all would check that out, because it don't make sense. Everywhere you go, it's a bump because they done tore it up. And why, if they put gravel back up instead of paving it back? This is ridiculous. I wish you all would check that out. And have a good day. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. First, I would like to send condolences out to my daughter, Carrietta Ryerson, and the Bates family on the loss of their loved one due to a fire in Glen Park this morning. So please keep them in your all's prayer. There will be a meeting of the Theodore Roosevelt Alumni and Community Group on July 11th to discuss the demonstration that will be held on July 16th. All alumni and the general public are invited to the meeting. The meeting will take place at the Gary Public Library. For those that ride the buses, please remember, Gary Public Transit buses will not be running on the 4th of July. And lastly, I would like to applaud the Gary Police Department. I was coming home from Indianapolis on a Greyhound bus, and one of the passengers some of them had gotten off to take a cigarette break. In the process, there were some individuals waiting to catch their buses. The passenger got irate, started cussing out the driver, and the driver felt threatened, called the Gary Police Department. 3 SWAT cars showed up. The person continued to be irate. Our police officers handled it very professionally. The passenger was put off the bus. She continued to cuss and be loud at the station after the bus drove off. And finally, one of the officers said on the bullhorn, "If you continue to put on a show, you will be charged for disorderly conduct. This is not Illinois. This is not Chicago. This is Gary, Indiana, and we will not tolerate any misbehavior." Well, the young lady quieted down, and there was no more problems. So I do want to applaud the police department for their professional way of handling the incident. People always talk about the negatives of Gary, but they hardly ever talk about when our people do something positive. And to each and every one, thanks for all the inquiries. I've been busy in the community. Folks have said, "We haven't seen you at the council meeting," so thanks for the inquiries.
Thank you. Mr. Nowacki, Mr. Hayes, you'll be our last speaker.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Jim Nowacki. I live in the 2nd District. Ms. Johnson commented that the police officers told the culprit in the bus that this is Gary, Indiana, and we don't tolerate any of that misbehavior. That's not entirely true. We do accept an awful lot of misbehavior, most of it on this common council. Mr. President, you spoke earlier about comments made by one of your colleagues regarding the indictments, handed down 19-page indictment of Mr. Comer from Comer Capital Group, who's handling the sale and leaseback. And you had mentioned that you didn't see any similarities between the indictment and the action taken here in Gary, and I would be happy to mark up this 19-page document showing you page after page after page of similarities, but I'll have to get another yellow pen because I've run out of ink, because there's so much marking to be done on this. Mr. President, if you were to suggest that the difference is that in Illinois, the misbehavior by Mr. Comer alleged in the indictment was that he oversold these bonds by 1%. In other words, they paid 1% more than the market, and he was indicted for that. He sold them for 5. They were should have been marked down to about 4 or less. The federal government thought that this was of such a nature, this 20% was such a nature that they indicted him. In Gary, we're selling them at 8%. 8% instead of probably the 3% that would be normal. And Mr. President, if you read the indictment, you realize how much profit is made when these bonds are churned from one buyer to another buyer to another buyer to another buyer because they're so undervalued. And the cost of that is, of course, shouldered by the first of all the library board in this instance, but in the bond issue being entertained today in Gary, it's going to be the Gary Common Council. I would suggest that not only were we having trouble now when we heard the mayor say, oh, the controversy now is going to jeopardize it. It's not because of that controversy, it's because the jig is up. And all these people who have been making money on this fraudulent issuance know that the jig is up.
Thank you, Mr. Nowacki.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Hayes, almost didn't recognize you yet. Good to see you.
You know, my name is Richard Hayes. I reside in the 6th District. I wanted to say that this, my curb in front of my house has been in disrepair since Hassey Company has went out there and called themselves putting in the pipes. And I've called and called the building department to ask for resolution of that issue. But, you know, they say that they want to look into it, and they probably have, but there hasn't been any resolution. So, you know, I get out there with my little shovel and my little wheelbarrow and pick up that little dirt that's coming back down because it can't be retained. The mud can't be retained because of how it's stopping in one section. Also, I'd like to say that on Georgia Street, between 39th and 52nd, they call themselves repairing the street. And what happened is the manholes that they covered up on certain spots, went around the manhole, and so it still have potholes. So, I mean, it's a new construction. Someone should be reviewing the work of those persons who are contracted to do it. And there was no African Americans there doing the work, except for one lady holding the flag. I didn't see anyone with a Hassie company that was African American who might have lived in the city of Gary. 43rd in Louisiana, used to go down there. If you go down there and it doesn't disrupt your car, then you've been blessed. The Lord Jesus has really been on your side because he's a fair God and we pay fair taxes. And we just want fair services from the city of Gary. That's all we're asking for. And this I've been asking for close to 8 years. We've done what we can do. I say that maybe persons against what I say sometimes, and I have no problem with that because we all supposed to be working together as one community. You know, we're saying about block clubs, and block clubs are fair. Block clubs are good. But in order to have block clubs, you have, I remember Ms. Green, Hathaway Green, came here, she was the first speaker about the block club. I mean, about the, what was that, daycare. And I remember her when she was a little kid. And she's been living that block for years and years and years. And I understand that she might just want a peace of mind. You know, her family grew up there, you know, a mother, father, brother, you know, but you have to start to, well, I feel, listen to the people who you represent. And her presentation was fair, honest. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hayes was our last speaker. On the parade that's taking place tomorrow, the administration is asking anyone that be participating in the parade that you would hand out candy or any goods that you would be handing out, not to throw those goods out. Also, I want to send my condolences out to Bishop Sanders' family. He lost his brother on yesterday. So we want to send our condolences out to Bishop Sanders. He lost his brother, Robert Sanders, Bishop Robert Sanders, at a third jurisdiction out of Illinois there. And today is his birthday, so I want to say happy birthday also to Bishop Sanders. There's nothing else. Entertain a motion for adjournment. Now stand adjourned. God bless you all. Have a good night.